All
No,
right.
I have my thing at 10 o'clock.
Okay.
You have your
I am
thing.
You are
my
still a little faint.
volume button. All right.
But I was going to say,
Well,
do you have studio turned on in your settings, by the way, Doctor?
What?
Oh, God.
Here we go.
This
So
is a
at
problem.
the top of your screen,
Yes,
you'll see
I'm the problem.
yes, you'll see a little phone.
setting.
It
You
says
left
leave
while we
call.
were podcasting. You
Why
left to
is-
make a bed. Why are you shushing
Bed
me?
making.
I'm-
Bed making.
Because Jason's trying to talk.
I am
did you
instructing
say?
the doctor. There's a little settings icon at the
Yeah.
top of the screen there. Click on that.
Yes.
You should have your microphone or your camera, your microphone,
Eddie microphone.
speaker settings, and
La,
then
la,
below
la.
that it says voice, and you want to change
Yes.
that to studio,
Yes.
and then click save.
All right.
That should improve our audio quality.
Mike's audio.
My audio was fine. I told you to lean closer, and you leaned
have a
further
big
away.
mouth.
And then you leaned towards the bedroom. You're off.
Kim's mom
Matt
just came into
arrived
the
and-
podcast. Big mouth.
Because Matt arrived and derailed everything, as always, in all
We were talking
things.
about that. Yes, the eternal fool flame.
Yes, Matt showed up.
I don't understand how he functions in day-to-day life without being able to read. Or not, and not that he can't read, but just doesn't care to read.
I know.
It's also the vanity of not wanting to wear glasses.
Oh,
this
I
is
didn't
true.
understand that.
This is potentially true, yes,
I
he did,
understand now. Am I? Do I sound faint? I'm getting very low bars on my.
Good to me.
Okay.
Yeah,
As
you
long
sound
as-
fine. I mean, you could probably talk
I'm
again.
always worried about blowing
trust
out
Mike.
and getting a little
Don't
distorted.
believe him.
Yeah,
Don't
I know.
trust him.
I was loud enough.
That's all that matters.
Twitter took to the tweet storm and said, "We couldn't hear you, doctor." And I told you, lean in.
Oh.
And you leaned back.
Yeah, I seem to be maxing out a little on my input level here. I guess I'm okay. I won't speak too loudly.
We're going in hot on this. We're going in hot.
What else is new?
I know. All right, and we've been recording this whole time, so
Yes.
Crap. Edit that. No, I want it to slice of life. People love it.
no one's. Oh,
Tell us on the Facebook page if you like the behind the scenes. Behind the scenes is what we're calling it now.
they love it. People love it.
People love the audio screw ups
do
for the whole
not.
podcast.
You know what? I love it.
That's what
This
it's
isn't
all
their
about.
podcast.
I knew that's
It's all about
always what
me
it
and
falls
my
to.
journey.
These idiots at Trek FM, don't worry about that.
We're gonna have a defector.
I know. Who was it? Yeah, who was the someone on Twitter had suggested that you go to Trek FM,
Oh.
Kim.
Oh, me? I
For
thought
real?
he meant that he was gonna go because of the better sound quality. Did I
I
misread
think
it?
he.
I'm gonna find this
yes.
now. Who said that on Twitter? Was it
He
on
tweeted
the
to me.
Okay.
Well, he tweeted to both of us. He tweeted mutiny. Hashtag mutiny.
Let's silently look this up.
I
Did Kim respond?
don't know if we'll start here. We might start a little later into the podcast.
Start
good.
exactly where
This
you
is
did.
not
pressure. He tweeted to me, and then I replied and tagged you, and then he responded.
I
Oh, did
forgot
you
I
tag me on
went
that?
at Flibadip.
She says, "I doubt very much that the Trek FM has level problems on their media." Hashtag mutiny?
Oh.
Question mark.
Oh, I thought that meant he was gonna go.
Oh, see? Yes. At Flibadip, couldn't hear you. You guys need to do a proper one soon. I doubt very much that Trek FM has level problems on their media. Hashtag mutiny. Then
she-
Mike, going to Trek FM would be like taking ninth place in a Batleth tournament. No one wants that.
I took ninth place.
Yeah, it's not our proudest moment there, but that's fine. It's all content.
Not our proudest moment.
Yeah, Jason, you really let us down. What happened with your fire? I'm sure you already talked about it. But
Oh, not really.
No,
That's the last thing we talked about. It might have been a Telosian mind trick,
yes.
but we had 5 fire trucks and ladders and all sorts of nonsense outside. And then usually it's not an unusual sight on my street for some reason to see a lot of fire trucks. But what did scare the hell out of me was when they grabbed the hoses and started running in the building, and I was like, "Oh crap! Let me see if I can start
crap.
getting the animals in order to get them out of the house."
Oh no.
But it just turned out that somebody's air conditioning unit or vent or air conditioning system caught on fire somehow, and I think I mean, I'm going to speculate
home?
here
I assume.
and say allegedly. We have some guys working on the roof. They're replacing the roof right now, and so maybe that caused an issue with because I know they're disconnecting and reconnecting air conditioning units and all that stuff. So who knows?
Yeah, it
Anyway,
seems
it's
weird
rather
running-
smoky in here.
Were those people home?
No, I don't think they were home.
Oh, well, they've got a surprise coming up.
Yeah. Well, I called the owner of the unit who rents it out, and he came in like 20 minutes, and he was thrilled.
20?
Yeah. Well, he's down the street. He doesn't live here.
That should be even less time.
It's Los Angeles, Doctor. You can't go 5 blocks
I know.
without 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
I will completely back Jason on this. 20 minutes is actually pretty fast for
I know.
LA time. I'm like, really? That's really quick. I mean, my
know.
God.
I can't get to Mike's in 20 minutes.
No, I mean, it literally
down the
is like
street.
what?
That's not just down the street.
Well, he doesn't live necessarily down the street, so I may have misspoken.
Lies
Lies,
everywhere.
I know.
Kim is coming in hot on
I
all
know.
of this. She doesn't. She's.
I feel like
This
I've
is the
been
pro.
kidnapped by
this
the
is-
Telosians.
I know. Kim has these, she's like, I do want to do Star Trek podcast, but then she comes in and she's eating and
my
drinking
Well,
and
normal.
Tea time.
and griping about
tea
everything.
time.
Well, we're starting now. We're starting right on that, picking up right where we left off from our last podcast, our last excellent podcast award-winning podcast.
What awards have you won?
Oh, we've won lots. We've won the Telosian Award. We took 9th place in the Bat Left tournament. We won a Webby. We won a Channy. We won a Potty.
Porta potty.
Are there really potties? I hope so.
That would be the best, wouldn't it? If there's a
They're
potty.
not called potties.
No, it has to be
Podcast
called
awards.
that.
Yeah.
It has to be called. But anyways, to our intrepid viewers, our intrepid listeners, I'm Mike McCafferty.
Yes, I'm Kim Miller.
And I'm Jason McCarris.
And this is a podcast called I Just Want to Talk About Star Trek, where 2 out of the 3 of us want to talk about Star Trek, and one of us refuses to be seen and instead has lunch and tea. She times it.
I have no makeup on. I'm putting makeup on while talking.
Put your makeup on and then come on, because we all want to see
And I
this.
still look awful, so I don't like having the camera on.
I'm wearing these gigantic glowing earphones now, so I'm embracing it. See, like mine have a little glowing now.
Yeah.
But
Mike's playing
that's
Fortnite while he's doing the podcast.
yeah. I've
He's
got
watching
my
someone play for it.
I've got my Fortnite stream. I got to keep that going. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to Fortnite All Night. I'm Mike McCafferty, and yeah, we
gonna
are
watch me
starting
watch
out
a guy
at
play
Ragged
Fortnite.
Rocks. And I watching a guy playing Fortnite. But speaking of people watching other people live their lives, what a wonderful segue into our Telosian episode,
Yes.
which is titled, Kim,
I'm putting makeup on.
The Sounds of
makeup on.
Thunder.
Yes,
We're doing a podcast.
I'm listening.
Gosh. Well,
Eating, having tea, and doing your makeup.
Kim,
Well,
we
you
expect our
listed
listeners.
It sounds crazy, but I'm forcing eyes when you open your big mouth.
When you listed it,
Putting
sounds
on makeup,
crazy.
you're eating and you're drinking tea,
I'm
and you're
done
saying,
eating.
I'm listening. I don't need you to listen. I need you to talk.
Sometimes I think life is just a Telosian illusion.
If it was, it would go much smoother.
Probably.
You know the title.
I do know the title, The Sounds of Thunder.
The Telosian illusion would go something like us having a smooth podcast, and then when they take it away, Kim's eating and putting on makeup.
I have a giant hump on my shoulder.
They didn't know how to feed or put makeup on me, Captain. This is the best they could do.
Added this crazy hump that none of them have, but I have.
What if we put a hump on this person? That seems to be the right thing.
And Zach Cotty's over there with things, pulsing in his head.
Pulsing veins, not speaking, but we can hear him.
They didn't really pulse in the new Star Trek. It's more like the electrical impulses flowing through them.
Yeah, they're kind of like ripples or waves going
Yeah,
through their head.
yeah.
They also seem to be like CGI'd, like very fuzzy. It was almost like they were like kind of like in a dreamlike fuzz.
Yeah.
To complement the
One day
constant
by
turning of the
James
camera when we were on the Discovery.
I did appreciate them going to the ancient language.
Oh yeah, that was fine. I mean, they did that in the original episode too,
Yeah.
so it was fine.
Well, there was a lot of kind of rehashing exactly what happened in the other episode too, which was a little weird. I mean,
Well,
I loved all the references to it, but when they started like doing the exact same thing all the time,
like
Vina
what are you talking
just
about?
revealing her face, everything was like totally. It was the episode.
Oh well,
It's for all these yahoos that never seen it, I guess.
I know people who have never seen like the
They're
actual.
not making a show for people who've never seen Star Trek before. Period. They're making it for the fans and people who've seen Star Trek, right?
Yeah, I mean, I in the recap did they show her all?
Yes.
All
No, they didn't show her mangled. They just
okay,
showed
so
her
so they did owe
pretty
that.
face. Yeah. Which I know you really enjoyed that. Well, first of all, tell us why you liked that first part so much with the original Trek stuff.
You know, I liked it. I probably like 80% liked it and 20% disliked it.
Got it.
I appreciated that they finally embraced Star Trek, that they said previously on Star Trek, and then they show all of this stuff, and then they just hard cut to Christopher Pike. Like, okay, great, this is the same universe, right?
Right.
The thing I didn't like is the way they edited it and the way they added sound effects, kind of like these kind of goofy 60s boing sound effects, like even more so that are in the actual episode, makes it sound as though this is so ridiculous that maybe the pilot is a dream. It's his interpretation of what happened, and that what's happening right now is the real thing. Like they have. It seemed like they were trying to like this embrace and also disenfranchise at the same time. It was hard to describe. But
When I saw it, I was kind of confused because I thought, oh well, are they referencing just the old, and they're going to come into a different sort of version of the universe? But then when she shows up at the end of the episode and talks to Pike, and they clearly had this relationship that happened in the old episode, I was like, well, they're playing it off as though it's just a straight continuation.
I think they're playing off as a straight continuation.
Right. Which would kind of rule out a mirror universe because the mirror universe, at least certain things would be definitely different, right?
What?
In the past.
Rule out
Kim, are you
the
still there?
universe.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm listening.
What are you eating?
I'm done eating.
Kim is the listener.
No, but I'm just saying when we're
She's
talking
experiencing
about
us.
the Kelvin universe and the different timelines.
Well, I
would
think-
this be a different timeline if the past was the same?
Well, I think that is the interesting question.
Because at least in J.J. Abrams, the past had completely changed due to the time warp.
Correct. Yeah, you're correct. This would still occur. No, I guess this would recur. It's interesting to like exactly when Spock shows up. That. I mean, I guess it's
That rift.
before.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he shows up before Kirk's born, so that was 34 years before we kind of joined the Enterprise, maybe 22 years. If Pike had encountered the Telosians before that, but that seems also like a stretch too. Maybe. I mean, like, Spock's pretty old, so
This madness. This rabbit hole.
I know.
It's a
Well, no,
wonderland.
it is kind of madness because
But
you
it
start
kinda,
going backwards.
It speaks right to the key of the heart of what we've been discussing about the different timelines and is Discovery.
Yeah,
in
is this a
totally
different
separate
timeline?
Yeah.
Well, and it also brings forth the idea of the Red Angel. Is the Red Angel trying to correct the timeline? Are
Right.
they from a different time? What are they trying to do?
Well, that's what they say at the. I mean, we're skipping ahead to the end of the episode, but that's what
Right,
Spock
yeah.
basically tells them, right? Is that the Red Angel
Yeah.
he's only here to save humanity because it eventually gets wiped out in the current.
Well,
timeline.
with like big goofball missiles, which I'm, I have some issues with that whole situation there. But you're right. We are getting ahead of ourselves. But it is an interesting question to say: Did Pike and Spock visit Telosians before Prime or Canon Spock visited, traveled into this universe and rewrote history with Nero and all that sort of nonsense? Because then that would still be consistent. That would still hold true. It's very confusing now.
Yeah.
yeah.
So good.
I have a feeling that, but no, they say it's 10 years before Kirk and Spock, so no, it can't be because it was at least, so Kirk gets the Enterprise, like let's say 25, 25 or 30, whatever. He was 34 years old in the series, so let's say 30. Then there's no way that this timeline is before Spock visits in either way. So I don't know. I don't know anymore. I'm so confused. They've
I think we've already
gaslighted
put
me.
more thought into it than the writers probably did.
This is we have probably talked much more than they did. It's like, let's just have a Red Angel. Oh, and here's the hey, you guys, did you watch the first episode? There's these crazy dudes with big heads. Let's put them in. That's the writer's room. I'm 100% certain that's exactly what it is.
Speaking of crazy dudes with big heads, did you see the big head person on the back of the
Yes,
ship? There?
low
Yeah.
gravity head man. He is back.
Oh.
Or Seth Brundle fly.
because,
Or,
you know, Captain Pike's taking kind of a roll call to see who wants to join him in mutiny, and
Yeah.
here he is standing right back there in support.
It's
And-
terrifying.
Yeah,
I know he is. It is funny because we talked about this. Kim and I were talking about as we watched it again. It's like there are so many more interesting creatures and people in the background of Star Trek that I so want to check out than like Stamets and Culber and Tilly. I mean, all these humans.
hate
Like,
that
what's
Culber
that
story.
guy's deal? What about Robot Girl? You know, I mean, we never look at these people.
Well, we'll get more vroom, vroom next week, it looks like.
Oh, we're gonna get it. Yeah, big time. Yeah, we
I
are
was
kind of
mentioning
working
to Mike
backwards.
that there was a lot of that even while she was standing still in this last episode.
I know.
I'm convinced now that's just the sound she makes when she moves. She has little noisy servos or something like that.
I feel like they put it in because they have to remind the audience that she is a robot and not just like some
tell.
weird plastic creature. Because it's good makeup, but at the same time, she's not like 100% a robot. You know, I mean, she could just be another alien. As far as I mean,
Have to remind the audience that she's a stick shift from your car.
yes. And if you go on our Facebook page, I just want to talk about Star Trek Facebook page, you'll find that. We'll put the link under every podcast. Check it out. See all the wonderful stuff. All right, but we are getting ahead of ourselves. So we start out with this. This interesting previously on Star Trek kind of thing with all sorts of interesting, you know, retro look to it, and then we hard cut to Pike. Yeah. Well, first of all, let's. Jason, you said you liked it.
I did. I enjoyed it. Yeah.
From the person who has the least background of this, you enjoyed it kind of.
Well,
like-
I mean, I do have the least background, but I have seen the Menagerie. I have at least, you know,
Yeah.
I've almost completed my
Cage.
original series watch, but
Have you watched The Cage, The Menagerie, or both?
both.
Okay, so yeah, so you know the whole.
Yeah,
story.
we've kind of been over that too. So I at least had that backstory going in.
Yeah.
and it's pretty recent. I mean, I watched it maybe a year ago, a couple years
Okay,
ago.
yeah. So all of this is fairly
It's
familiar.
somewhat fresh. Yeah,
Yeah.
So for
and
them
Kim?
to explore that kind of stuff, it was
Yes.
interesting to me.
So Kim, the silent one, what did you think about this episode?
I enjoyed it overall, better than some of the previous ones. I'm looking at little snippets of it now, and I keep finding those spots with the scenes that you hate with Culber and Stamets. You're like, we can just skip that.
Well, can't we? I mean, I'm. We'll go into this.
Yeah,
Like the
We gotta
Culber,
have some other
Stamets
little
stuff.
B stories going.
Yes, and that's fine. Like I didn't mind that one as much as the Section 31 nonsense.
yes.
I still don't quite understand why
I kind of like that Stamets storyline too, and Culber's the doctor, right? Who ended up in the yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Hugh
interested
Culber.
in him being reconstituted and not feeling like himself, and suddenly he doesn't.
Yeah,
you know.
I kind of want to see what happens with him. He's going to go back to Mushroom World, or
Yeah,
he's going to be someone
it-
else completely.
It feels like his arc is closing out very quickly. It feels like he's going to be done by the end of the season because he is. I mean, they did a lot. We didn't talk about this, but in the previous one when I went into Mushroom Land, they did a lot to unring the bell of killing him in the first season. They went to extraordinary lengths to undo that kind of capricious move of Vok kills Culbert for no good reason other than
that they needed it.
It's shocking
Yeah.
in the moment.
well, and the writers. I mean, on the after shows and stuff, I remember at the time the writers. They were very coy, and the actor was very coy. I'm blanking on his name at the moment, but they were all saying like, "He's dead," but that's not the end of me on the show. So you knew he was coming back, and we thought, "Oh, dream sequences, whatever." And then it kept getting bigger and bigger. Okay, now he's actually alive in the mycelium network, and now
Till
he's
getting
back on the
drilled in the
Enterprise.
temple.
Yes,
Tilly getting Black and Decker drilled in the head so that Tig could put a thing in her head to get her to go inside the big mushroom monster and find Culbert. I mean,
you just brought up a good point. Tig's been missing for like 3-4 episodes now, right?
Good. I find her character very annoying.
okay, yeah, lean into that. Why?
Oh gosh, why?
Yes, yeah,
The monotone, the snarkiness, the comedy isn't really my taste. I'm sure some people enjoy her, but I just find her very tiresome.
well,
There.
Jason and I are sort
I
of
know
like
you're friends.
we're like secondary
Yeah.
friends, so we have to kind of ease off. But
Yeah.
I would like to see a couple more layers to her, writing wise. I think she's a good actress, and she could be a lot of fun. But
I will concede to the Doctor that her character, is kind of like an unexplained genius who knows everything. She's, an engineer, but also saved all these people with medicine that she wasn't trained for, and knows everything about everything, which is kind of a little annoying.
There are a lot of unexplained geniuses in Discovery. There's a lot of people who are just really, really good at what they do and can just waltz into any situation, including Emperor Giorgio, who suddenly is completely forgiven, and Vok. I mean, all these
now
people.
she's a good guy, and Grace is Michael Burnham, and they give each other a look, and
yeah. So there's a lot of those kind of characters floating around. But I mean, the Culbert story did take it. It was interesting to watch. It was kind of him kind of confronting, coming back from mushroom madness, and
it's kind of like Reefer Madness.
looking like Riker from the Genesis episode where he turns into Neanderthal. We talked about this. Did we talk about this before? Maybe we didn't. But he looks like a total monster. I'm like, yeah, he deserves to be here. But they bring him out, and it's interesting that they didn't totally unring the bell, and there is an interesting backstory to him now, and I feel like he's probably not going to be around for long.
Okay. We were talking about something right before we started. I'm sorry, Doctor, were you saying something?
Oh, I imagine he'll stick around. He'll probably leave the Discovery, but be around in the universe.
Yeah.
Since it seems like they're divorcing in so many words.
Yeah. I was going to say, Mike, when we were just before we started, you were starting to give me your analysis, and you want to do a deep dive here on this. Was it sparked by the robots who were cleaning up after the fight?
Yes. I'm going to deep dive into that later, so we'll hold on to that. I don't want to. Yeah, I want to.
Cleaning up robots.
Yes, it is a catalyst for a lot of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I feel like you, among others, Kim, enjoy my deep dives.
Yeah, I do.
And I feel as though, like, I watched that scene where these robots clean up the mess, which was just such a throwaway, nonsensical moment. Like, how come there's not robots everywhere doing everything? But it really sparked this thought process in me, which kind of made me say, oh, now I get why I don't like, why some of these characters are problematic to me. So.
I'll just tease. We'll get that a little later.
It is a tease. Yeah, it is a tease. We are jumping all over the place, which thrills me, because then it can be,
Because it's chaos. I love the flying into the Talos 4 orbit and thinking they're flying into a black hole. That was
Oh yeah, they almost went to Interstellar. They were.
Yeah.
Although
I didn't know if I appreciated. I know Spock was mentally incapacitated, but he just had just enough energy to jump up and slam the controls to push her through that without explaining anything or telling her it was okay.
Yeah, it is
terrifying her that she's going into a black hole, and then she just accepts it. Like,
yeah.
well, okay,
well,
you must know what you're doing, crazy person.
Yeah, I mean, like he could have actually saved you more energy, fewer words. I mean, we're all talking about conserving words and energy now these days.
Right.
By saying,
well, obviously that kind of ruins the surprise for the audience as well. If you telegraph it too much,
but I feel like we all knew that was. I mean, well, maybe some people.
I didn't know.
Okay, I knew immediately. Like, oh, of course, this is what they're doing. They've made simulate a black hole.
But instead of me being like feeling anxious about it, I was just like, what the hell is why are they doing this? This just doesn't make any sense.
Why are they flying the black hole, or why are they going to Talos?
Exactly. And then when they have the big reveal, I'm like, oh, okay, well, they're trying to set up the Talosian mind.
But it looked cool.
Yeah.
It did look cool. I was like, okay, that's fine. But you're right. I mean, he could have just said, Burnham, go fly into the. It's okay. It's an illusion. But
so why couldn't Spock have just said, without going through all his madness, I need to go back to Talos 4? What? Am I leaving a big part out?
Because time is what he grounds his logic in, Kim.
Oh, that's right. Time.
But he was seeing all timelines at the same time or something like that, right? Because he mind melded with the Red Angel?
Yeah, and so the only way to communicate was through a very oblique reference through the looking glass and numbers, which he kept on spouting out, which he knew Burnham would figure out were reversed, that would take them to Talos 4.
What was the point of them being reversed? Because she's the only one who can crack that code, apparently.
I know, and Amanda was like, I tried everything. She's like, no, backwards.
The numbers are reversed.
Google, look up these numbers. Oh.
I tried them forwards. I tried them sideways. I tried them forwards. Amanda, Don't quote logic at me, Burnham. I know what I'm doing.
Try again, husband. Like, oh, jeez, that sounds so modern.
Tried unvaccinating him. It just, like it's too much science. There was another sequence where it was actually last week's kind of stall episode where they just kind of didn't do a whole lot, but they did a whole lot. Like they were kind of like setting up for this episode.
Forgot.
You guys remember last episode?
Remind me quickly.
They go to
Light
Vulcan.
and shadows. Oh yes.
And then meanwhile they're examining the debris of the Red Angel and the robot squid attacks Vulcan.
Oh
and,
yes.
But
That probe, which has been modified in the future and then used against them. I'm like, what?
okay, guys, what are we doing
Suppose
here?
that'll be explained 6 months from now.
But my point is, they're like, oh, I should go back to Vulcan. You know, he hasn't seen Amanda in months. Like we just saw. I mean, like it just seemed kind of weird that they would go back there. You know, it was kind of a big kind of spinning of the wheels kind of episode.
What do you mean Michael hasn't been home?
Well, Michael hasn't been home, but she just saw Amanda. I mean, she was just there like
Well,
2
that's
episodes ago. So like,
When she gave her that stolen stuff from the medical station.
yeah, maybe she's the Red Angel. She's all over the place. All right, so we jump. Let's see what. So we go to Talos. No.
Oh,
Oh.
it got distorted for a sec.
Oh, okay. We go to Talos, and then we see Vina. New Vina.
Yes. Played by Melissa George, who I was very surprised to see because she's been around for a while. She looks really good. Yeah.
Sing.
She has been. She was on Alias years ago.
Oh, okay.
She was like a love interest for. Well, I don't want to get too into. I just want to talk about Alias, but yeah, she showed up as kind of a competitor for Sydney Bristow, and she was an agent
you're talking
spy
about.
or something like that.
So Vina shows up.
IMDb.
And she's not bad. She's not bad as kind of. Here's the other thing. It's like when they hard cut from Jeffrey Hunter as Pike to Anson Mount as Pike, it's pretty good. You know, I mean, they did a good job of casting. Anson Mount does a really good job of really epitomizing Jeffrey Hunter's Pike.
Yeah, he's good. I like him more and more each week.
Yeah, and the same thing with this Vina.
No nonsense, no gimmicky, goofy. Like he still has a sense of humor, but he's not
Well, yeah, except when he kind of lets everybody off the hook for fighting in the mess hall. Which is, just this once, Saru.
have to work this out.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, he kind of, because of the nature of the show, which has like the subordinates sometimes more leading role than him, he has to kind of have this kind of scared look, like I don't know what's going on. Someone help me, you know. And like where like he defers to Saru is like, why did you do that? Like, well, I thought it'd be a good idea. Like, okay. Just this once. You know, like, what are you talking about? No, you're all confined to quarters, you know. Go clean up the stuff in the mess hall. Don't let the robots do it.
So mad about this.
I am so mad about this. Why? Like, if they make this giant mess, like, why are they letting the robots clean it up? Like, you jackasses had this big fight in the mess hall. You clean it up. Instead, there's robots and everyone's talking about their feelings. I don't want that.
Mike needs accountability.
I do. See, I'm giving away. I want accountability. I want consequences. I want people to earn things. That's why we like Pike, because he has earned his rank. He doesn't just like sublimate his commanders. He's someone who has earned his rank, and we know that he has a tragic ending coming up. So he's going to pay the consequences for what he's doing. If Vok and Colbert have a fight in the mess hall, robots shouldn't clean it up. They should.
Wow.
Okay, so you're more bothered about them not cleaning up their own mess than the technology of little Roomba things.
No, who
Zumba.
cares about that? It's, you know, Ariam's a big Roomba. We already talked about
Flying
that.
Roombas.
Bunch of robots taking Zumba class.
The Zumba Roomba class with Ariam, featuring Ariam. Rup, 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 rup. All right, so
Okay.
we meet
Yeah,
Vina.
Don't you think it'd be weird to have, like, well, it's not because you see it in Next Generation, like those guys that work in 10 Forward that are like clearing tables in their little green outfits. Like we don't see those kind of everyday workers in this world.
No, but I mean, we like in Star Trek 2, we saw the famous guy vacuuming. We saw in Star Trek 3 at the little
true.
the cafeteria as the Enterprise is pulling in. There's someone who's like clearing the tables or setting the tables.
There's no bussers in this.
There's no
On
bus.
the Discovery.
But
They
here's
need,
like
they need some more robots. They need Dexter Jester's diner with the robot 50s waitresses
Damn, he
coming
did
by
it
to
to
set the
us
tables.
again.
oh Jason, no
Star Wars infiltrator.
less robots, more people doing mundane tasks to teach them the value of working together and teamwork and all that sort of stuff.
The value of labor.
The
Now I'm
value
going to
of
go turn on
labor.
my Roomba to do the
I think
vacuuming.
if you went to North Island Naval Base here and two officers got in a fight in the mess hall, I don't think they would be the ones cleaning it up. Some minions would be doing it.
Well, then what were the consequences? What were the consequences at all?
They'd be court-martialed.
They might be court-martialed, yes. Don't you think like
Reprimands.
because check out like if we were to pivot this scene and like Saru, or let's say Pike walks in on this fight and he's like, what the hell is going on? And they're like, oh, I was letting them fight. He's like, all right, great. Saru, Culbert, Vok, you guys all clean this up. I want this place spick and span, and you're not leaving until it is. And then he walks
is their
out.
Parent.
Stamets too, because he just watched
Well,
silently.
yeah, I know. Stamets is like the worst like boyfriend of all time. Like
Husband.
husband.
I said to Mike last night, like, if you saw Sarah throw a chair at someone, would you not say something? Wait, let her work this out.
Let's let this all play out here. Let's see how this goes.
I can kind of see that happening. I'm just
Chrissy
going to
throws
back away
someone
kind of
through a
quietly because
plate
that chair
glass
might be
window.
coming at me next. So
To me, the more interesting scene would be like, you two guys are going to clean this up, and then we have that scene where the two of them are like scrubbing the floor because this is a naval ship. I mean,
so worried about the cleaning.
no,
You're
because
not
it's
worried about timeline and blowing up Earth and Vulcan.
No, I'm
Who's
worried
gonna
about-
clean this up?
I am worried about this because this speaks larger. Because if robots take care of all what character suffers consequences in this show? What character ever has to clean up their mess? They always just like fly away, and I mean, certainly not Burnham. Burnham only now is slowly starting to realize the consequences of her life. She's slowly like she does this thing with like she starts this Klingon war. She disobeys her captain, gets her killed, and then what happens? She winds up on the Discovery, second in command. There's no consequences, and at the end of the season, she gives this moralizing speech of how we have to be better. What have you done to earn that speech? Nothing.
Ash
It's all-
Tyler murdered somebody, and they suddenly put him in command on the ship. So not in command, but
Ash Tyler murdered that guy, murdered Culbert. How are there no consequences for him? How are we
Right.
sitting like being like, I'm gonna have to take away your badge and confine you to quarters, Ash Tyler, because you might have stolen some information. How about you killed that guy?
That was Volk.
yeah,
Oh,
well,
yeah, it
but
was
that's,
Vok.
that's like the convenient excuse for everything. Like
It's always the convenient excuse
you
for
just feel like-
everything.
he's going to
Doesn't
steal
hold
all
the
sorts of
elevator
stuff from the
door.
ship
Sorry,
and-
Volk.
What
Yeah,
about
exactly.
Giorgio? What about Leland and Giorgio? And Giorgio is always undermining goofball Leland. It's like, I wanted to see how you twisted in the wind with Section 31. Like, what? You're fired then.
What was
Get
that
out.
accent? Charlie Chan accent.
Well, then, all right. Well, so then, fine. Then I want to see how this.
Racist.
I want to see how you twisted in the wind on this. It's not even that. It's just her leaning into this mustache twirling thing. I'm not trying to have any sort of like trying to imitate her accent. Like she's just always like this Catwoman like horrible villainess. Who is constantly subverting everyone's authority at every point and never suffers the consequences. No one in Discovery ever suffers consequences. No one ever earns their rank except for Christopher Pike.
I'm getting sort of sick of her talking about the mirror universe that she came from and what she does in that universe to deal with stuff that happens in this one. And it's getting super tired. Like, well, in my universe, I would just kill them. Like, all right.
In my universe, I killed them and destroyed their stupid singing plants. There's no accent there, Kim. How do you like that? In my universe, this is what we did.
Worked up. Sheesh. It's taking an ugly turn. See, Zach, this is what I'm talking about.
You're the one who came in hot, and now I've caught on fire, and Jason's
my
apartment's on fire.
He's literally on fire.
It's a Lotion mind trick. Zach, I promise you there's no racist comments over at Trek FM. You won't get this kind of quality over there.
No one suffers consequences. I'm trying to think if there's any exception, but I can't come up with anyone right now.
I know. Everyone does whatever they want, and then it's all brushed aside as they move forward in all of this. This is the problem. There's no consequences, and no one earns anything, with the exception of maybe Saru and Pike. Like Pike, like I was like, do I like Pike because he's like the captain? Do I like him because I'm some sort of horrible misogynist, like he's a white guy? Or is it because he's a captain who has earned his stripes and shown up here and like he has earned this level of authority as opposed to Burnham?
I've heard you say that a few times about the in terms of he's earned his stripes and he's earned that rank and everything, but in terms of this show, Discovery alone, have we seen any evidence of that? He just kind of shows up and takes command of the ship.
But he's a known character in the universe. I mean,
right.
like,
but I'm saying, but as far as the in a vacuum of Discovery, we don't know that.
Well, that's true. But let's look at the previous captains or people in command of the Discovery. You had this world Giorgio, who gets killed. Mm-hmm. Then you have Lorca, who turns out to be a Mirror Universe guy.
Right.
Then you have Saru, who was fine, but then replaced by Giorgio later on, Mirror Universe Giorgio. And then finally we have Pike.
Who's like stable. He's providing stability to the show. We've all established
that. Like good or bad, he has to make. They've tried for the past season and a half, or the first season, to say we're going to try this without any sort of upper management. It's no captain, just like we're going to let the underlings run it, and they've never had a good solution for that. And ultimately, you have no authority at the top, and then people underneath them constantly subverting them. Sometimes for good reasons, but never receiving any consequences as a result of that.
And I mean, that's very deliberate, because I do recall us talking about how they really wanted to emphasize that the lead character on the show is not going to be the captain.
Right.
That it was going to be Michael Burnham, and that's why they had that whole arc at the beginning with her betrayal and her getting arrested, and we're following her, not necessarily the captain. So I can see why they might have that sort of underpinnings of there's not much stability in the captain's rank. And I guess it was fun for a while, but it's a fun experiment. But after a year or 2 years, it's like, okay, we do need somebody in that position who's going to control what's happening here.
Yeah, you want someone, and again, like I've used the reference of the West Wing before, where they tried to have the president sort of on the outskirts, and that's fine, but there has to be someone who has the authority to say what you did was wrong, what you did was right, as opposed to like, I'm from a Mirror Universe, so I got to inject my eyeballs.
There's a difference between having maybe an unstable captain and just mad chaos the entire time, which seems to be what we've had.
Right. It was so much mad chaos, and then Pike shows up and he has the authority that says, okay, we're going to play by my rules. I will listen to you, and your ideas might be better, and I will do them. But at the end of the day, it has to be my choice. And most of the time, that's what happens. Every once in a while, like I said, what's that?
Cafeteria fights. Except with cafeteria fights.
Except the cafeteria fights and Saru, who I think Pike's kind of freaked out by Saru.
A little bit, yeah. Well, I'm mesmerized by Saru every time he's walking with swinging his arms back and forth. I can barely pay attention to what they're talking about the cafeteria fight.
We were talking, Kim and I were talking that Saru and, I guess we were talking about this in the past episode, right? Saru, yeah. Saru and Giorgio came from the same finishing school with their saunters. They both saunter.
Sashay off my bridge like this.
How many words? Yeah, sashay, saunter, yeah. Catwalk off. But all right, so now where are we? So now I've blown my deep dive. You guys have pulled it out of me.
I was going to say, do we really need the deep dive now?
I was going to say, stop! You're blowing all your material right now.
Well, no, I mean, we might as well just keep on talking about it, because this problem has cropped up in J.J. Abrams' movies as well.
What?
In 2009.
No consequences?
Well, there were consequences, but it was Captain Kirk not earning it. Like Kirk just basically falls forward constantly in the 2009 film until he becomes captain. Mm-hmm. He goes to Starfleet Academy as kind of like this, like, hey, I'm a frat boy, and then constantly falls upward, subverting everyone else who is better and more experienced than he is, and just by happenstance happens to save the day. Mm-hmm. It's the Star Trek Beyond, which I like, Star Trek Beyond Burger that I like, where the
doctor's reaction.
Crazy. It was crazy distortion there for a second.
Oh, that distortion.
Yeah.
I said Star Trek Beyond Burger.
That's what caused the distortion.
It's such a weak joke. I don't even know why we have to Star Trek Beyond Burger. Star Trek Beyond Burger.
So bad you destroyed
Next
your
thing
own
you know,
title.
there's going to be a Beyond Burger that's Star Trek themed.
Oh, I hope so.
Enterprise
I
stamped
need
in the
that,
middle.
Yeah.
Ooh.
But in the Star Trek Beyond, Kirk is finally a captain who has earned it. He's been through enough missions. He's been he's almost done with the 5-year mission, and he's weary, and he understands the burden of command. And that's what I want to see. I want to see these people who have risen through the ranks, who understand their place within the structure of a military organization, and only subvert it when it's absolutely necessary and are prepared to pay the price for it. So,
Okay.
yeah, there
Excellent.
we are. Yeah. And if you have robots that are cleaning up your messes, you're never going to learn.
Take that,
Hear
Roomba
that.
owners.
Swab those decks.
Yeah.
No Roombas.
Wait a minute. This is from the king of Just Flip the Cushion. You're
I know.
so worried about
I didn't
About-
want to note the irony, but you're
about the
absolutely correct.
rules and leaving things, cleaning up your own messes.
It applies to his children, not him.
Mirror Mike.
That cushion remains flipped. There's no consequences. But I earned the right to flip the cushion, you see.
Oh God.
And I'm prepared. Later on. Well, we'll go into this later on. So, all right. So, after that long tirade, we do go into the Telosians' cave. We get beamed down in this cave, and the Telosians, they want to bargain with. It's a weird, interesting way to get the reason why Spock and Burnham don't talk anymore, as the Telosians demand it as payment.
Yeah, I was confused by that.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
Yeah.
Mike and I were kind of discussing this. Like, how does other people's memories nourish them? I guess that's what they live on. That is like nourishment to them. Experiences or thoughts or something.
They've evolved to the point where only other creatures' memories is what sort of sustains them.
I guess there's no obvious food source on the surface at the quarry in Canada.
This Canadian quarry with blue plants. Whether it's like more of a it's hard to equate it as a one-to-one as food. It's more like this is what sustains our existence. This is like what gives us purpose in life. I feel is that we only live vicariously through others.
Maybe the more intense the memory, the more it is
Yeah.
nourishing for them. That's why they
I
wanted
guess
to
so.
hear that horrible or the story about the half-breed weirdo. You
Well,
weird little
yeah.
half-breed.
It is quite ridiculous to believe that creatures would stare at other stories constantly and derive some sort of pleasure from it. Because I don't.
Coming in hot.
Coming in hot. No, well, I mean, I was making the analogy that we all watch television. I mean, this is basically their television. This is basically
Yeah.
their internet. Like, other people's suffering is their internet.
Like our internet.
Yeah, I was kind of skimming through here just to kind of try and get to what the doctor was talking about with why would the Telosians need to see that memory. And Burnham actually asks, "Why for your
Yes,
entertainment?"
and-
And they say, "This is how we understand it, how we survive." You're right, though, Doctor. They don't really explain why. How do they survive on memories?
It's more explained in the Cage and the Menagerie
Yeah.
that this is kind of like their only way. Like, the way they described it there sort of felt like the Excalibans from the Savage Curtain, or what was the one?
Oh gosh.
Liaisons, which with Eric Pierpoint, where we have to experience your culture before we understand it. But that's not what the Telosians did, because ultimately they tried to enslave people, breed them to get more humans so they could live off their memories. It's not oh, now we understand.
Mm-hmm.
At least in the Cage of the Menagerie, it was more of we want to watch you do stuff. So
At the end of Cage, or was it Menagerie, they said that humans are too violent. They
to be
didn't-
caged,
they
yeah,
weren't
they
interested.
it was not worth it for
Keep
them to
them.
have them caged because they were going to try and break out. So
You are much too violent.
yeah. I mean, because their whole plan was to have Pike down and breed with Vina or number one or a couple of the other women they beamed down so they could have the stock of humans to live through their memories. But eventually Pike broke out, and they're like, if you're going to kill yourselves over this, then you are far too dangerous and unstable for us, so we'll just, go with
Maybe
Vina.
you said this and I missed it, but did you say the memories that they're receiving help them with the illusions that they're creating? Is that what the deal is?
Oh, maybe. I hadn't thought of that, but sure, why not?
Kim signed off on it. Kim's fine.
We're already in Cuckoo Town, so why not?
It's all fuzzy, Dutch-angled stuff anyway. So.
Maddening.
Oh, now you go, Kim.
God.
Hot take, Kim, go.
It's freaking lens flares. Ugh, so infuriating, so unnecessary. It's like, the story's interesting enough. Why do you
It
gotta
doesn't
add all
bother me
this
one
crap?
bit. The Dutch angles.
Jason.
Yeah, none of it bothers me.
Every time there's a
Look
lens
for
flare
it
on,
next time.
I don't even notice. No, I don't notice anymore because it was so obvious when in the original Star Trek how crazy. I mean, the original 2009 Star Trek. I meant to say. Yeah, Freudian slip. But you know how ridiculous the amount of lens flares were in that movie, and
They
Yeah,
bust you
subsequently
down.
how he dialed it down.
This was
J.J.
definitely a
Abrams does
JJ,
it to all
a
of
JJ
us.
homage.
Well, I think the whole, visual vocabulary of the show is taken from the
Yep.
Bad Robot series. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Too much.
I watched with Kim on Monday, and every time there was a lens flare, she audibly groaned or grunted. It was just like, stop. I didn't even pay attention to them until I was like, what? Oh, geez. Oh, yeah, there's a lens flare going over his face. Okay, fair
Sometimes
enough.
they completely obscure the actor's face. It's infuriating.
Well, here's like aside from the lens flare, the camera angles. Like I watched The Favorite, Oscar nominated. Olivia Colman won. Great, she did a great job. But the camera angles drove me bonkers. The
Yes.
fisheye lenses.
Fish eyes.
But it wouldn't be the same movie if he didn't do that. That's the style
Good.
of your
Well, that's fine. Yeah, I found the drama compelling in and of itself.
Yes.
And if you're doing that, then what are you saying? Like someone said to me, like,
But the
like,
drama of it is
distracting.
well. I don't want to get too much into the movie, but it's a surreal movie to begin with. Not the way it's played by the actors too. It's not reality. It's not a period piece drama the way you would watch Masterpiece Theater or something.
What-
It's
like-
something very
like-
distinct, and the visual style accents the
Too much.
the surreality of it.
I guess there wasn't enough surreality to it
Right,
to
yeah.
like
Surrealism, I should say.
the surrealism, the surreality, to denote that. But what I'm looking at, like when I'm watching this episode, especially where reality is completely off kilter, is why do we always have the camera in the Discovery framed at like a 30-degree angle? Because that has to say something, right? I mean, like, what if you have a clever or bizarre camera angle? Then what are you trying to say about this scene? Are
Yeah.
we detached from it? Is it are the
Something
world
to
spinning?
skew, yeah.
So does that mean that all of this is a dream to Pike? Does Pike actually exist? I mean, this one especially, because like if you are having that kind of like slight angle to the scene, then is this real? That I wish they would have had
I
a
think
little
that's more wishful thinking on your part.
Well,
maybe it's not. None of this is real. It's all a dream. We can go back to the original Star Trek.
I'm just going to watch the original Star Trek over and over again. None of this exists. No, but I mean, but it is a coding. It is a visual coding to say like, this. Don't trust this. If the camera isn't on level, then what else is? I mean, and if you're just doing it just to be artistic, then you're sending kind of these mixed messages. So
Possibly.
Intrusive, distracting.
Enough said.
enough said.
I will write something down while I'm eating and having tea and putting on.
I'm not writing anything down.
What are you
I'm
doing?
removing cat fuzz from my pants.
Add that to the list.
What? It's a quiet activity, and I'm listening.
It's a very quiet activity. It's just distracting for us who have to see you.
That's why I don't like to be on the camera during the. Why am I
I'm
talking
surprised you
about
turned it
Bill
back
Cosby?
on.
You look great though. You look great right now. I mean, this is
It'll be a horrible still photo of me on YouTube. Like, oh,
Oh, going back for
You
that one.
I try to go
Always
back. I
looks
try to
awful.
find good photos of you, Kim. I want you to know, or I'll put Jason
yes,
on it.
I believe that.
Well, no,
I
I
need
mean,
the link to this chat afterwards just for that still of Kim making a face.
well, YouTube does that automatically, and then I go back to the thumbnails and I try to find one of me or Jason, but
And it's the one where she was making a crazy face like that.
it does that quite a bit actually for some reason. The AI seeks her out. I don't know why. It's the Arium of YouTube is looking for her.
So
Let's
what's
see,
up
what
with
else- what-
Arium? So has she been? Has a
She's
virus
been compromised.
infiltrated by who? 31. Just
Well,
called
but-
31 now.
31 flavors. It's the Baskin Robbins.
Section 31.
Maybe that's
flavors.
who's behind it. Baskin Robbins has always been behind this.
Baskin Robbins Industrial Complex.
Baskin Robbins and Beyond Burger, 2 sponsors of Star Trek Discovery.
Captain Baskins, Admiral Robbins, this way, please.
All dressed in clown colors.
The
polka dot
creamification
uniform.
is taking place right now as we speak.
Although, if there was a Beyond Burger with the Star Trek insignia in the burger, you would both eat it. Come on.
I
Beyond Burgers are
argue
okay.
with that.
Beyond Burger's like a 7 out of 10. I enjoyed it. It's not bad.
I still prefer the Impossible Burger that I had with Kim.
Impossible Burger. Ooh.
I had one at
Fat Burger.
Fat Burger. Was terrible.
Fat
I don't
Burger
think-
doesn't. I mean, it's not prepared the best there. You get it at different restaurants, and they're prepared differently. And
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they were doing. It
Yeah.
really shied me away until I saw
Yeah.
these Carl's Jr. things, and I bought one. I'm like, oh, it's all right.
oh, I haven't had the Carl's Jr. version.
Oh well, yeah, we should
Only
go get.
Umami Burger made the best one, as far as I'm concerned. I had it at the counter. It's kind of.
Oh, all right.
But yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us
Welcome
here at
to-
Beyond Burger.
I just want to talk
Our
about
new vegan podcast.
fake burgers.
But actually, it does fit in because it's Telosian. The Telosians would make a Beyond Burger that we wouldn't know is real.
synthetic.
So, yeah. All right. So,
So Section 31.
Section 31.
What's happening with Arium? They.
Oh,
are the
Arium. Yeah.
ones-
But in the previous episode, she got kind of reprogrammed. I thought by the
Sphere or something?
was it the sphere or was it the squid robot? I can't remember which one it was.
The Oksana Bayul? No.
The Oksana Bio, something. I felt like it was something that was not Section 31, which was reprogramming her with those little 3 red dots.
Yeah, I thought it was. I'd
Red
have to go
Angel?
back to remember, but I thought it was the squid probe.
I think it was the squid that
because it
like
came from the
reprogrammed
future,
her.
right? They was been
Yeah.
repurposed and went back, and
Oh, yeah, that thing.
Yeah, so it is the squid. So it's not like so. Ash was like sort of accidentally framed for this and confined to quarters for that, but not for fighting. Fighting, you're off the hook. But
Kim is showing us a close up of.
Arium's little
Arium.
3 dots in her eyes.
oh yeah. Well, I hopefully we'll find. There's only 11 episodes this season. We're almost done.
How many were there last season? 10.
I thought there was like 15.
Oh, maybe because they took a break and did half and half.
Yeah, they did like 7 and then 8 or
there's
something
only
like
8 this episode. I mean, this season.
that. No,
There's
there's
been 8
Oh, no,
so
no,
far.
no,
That
no,
was
no.
episode 8.
That's
wasn't
right.
it?
Ha!
the end. We hope you've enjoyed Star Trek
Season one.
Discovery. Please turn off your television.
Robots will
Season
clean up this
1.
mess while you're gone.
Ah, my sentence. Season 1 was 15 episodes.
I'm fine with those robots as long as they're accountable.
Oh, God. Flip the question.
Yes, yeah, you are correct. 15 episodes.
That is
season
not
one.
that is not an equivalence. You can't
Totally.
you can't. That is
I want to
a
hear your deep dive.
well. You've heard most
We've
of it
kinda
now.
heard it,
so
yeah.
You've drawn
We
it out
destroyed
of me.
it.
You've Ariumed me. Now I 3 dots in my eyes and I'm going crazy. Rup, 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 rup.
Whatever Mike said, we'll just decode it backwards and figure it out.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
what
right.
do you think's
Yeah.
going to happen with her next week?
I
He's
hate
gonna-
robots. He loves robots
But
through the
I
looking
love
glass, you
that
guys.
I just hope whenever what happens to Pike
all right,
happens
so-
that he has the.
I don't know what's gonna happen to Arium. I really hope that they don't just like make her like a pawn, like oh we had to kill her because she's so much more interesting, having done nothing, than all
I'm
these other
shocked
characters.
by this because I mean you've complained about her for like, yeah, I don't know, a year and a half now.
Just her funny noises.
Yeah,
Well, her funny noises and the fact that they're showing us this robot with it, ever
don't
going
explain
into
it.
the fact
Yeah.
that there's a weirdo robot there.
this might
When
be
Star Trek has-
the impetus for getting more information about her. If she's, they might have an
Yeah,
episode about
next
her
week
now.
she's going to go crazy and fight people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in the Next Generation, Data was an android who was so... They had absolutely no clue what to do with him, to the point where they actually held a court hearing to decide whether or not he was like actually human, like he actually had rights or not. They did a whole episode. It's like one of the best episodes cited. And this is like, oh, we just got a robot over here. Guess she's all right. You know, I mean, so it's the fact that they're just kind of playing fast and loose with that. I like that they're showing us more of her. I want to see her. I want to see Giant Head Guy.
Yeah, Giant Head Guy. I'm waiting for the Giant Head Guy episode.
I want to see
Can
Can
Lizard
we go to
Dude.
his home
Guy.
planet like we went to Saru's?
Ew, ugh. He's so scary.
A bunch of big heads.
Gross.
Yeah, he's. I want to see Lizard Guy with the sideways blinking eyes.
Right.
Oh,
They're just going to be
Linus.
sneezing constantly.
Linus. Oh, jeez. All right. Well, we were talking a little bit about Section 31,
Yeah.
who's always
Mind them, but I know you have strong feelings against it.
now. Why don't you mind them, Kim? They're always just like lingering around, saying, "Don't touch that. Don't do that. Go over there."
It's like secret stuff.
You just like secret stuff.
Covert ops.
I just
Put
like
a lot of
secret
thought
stuff.
into this, and I like secret stuff. Kind of secret organization doing things. I like.
I think we need to get the doctor a
Mission
T-shirt
IMF.
that just says "I like secret stuff" on it.
You know, when you want insightful deep dives on stuff, I like secret stuff. I think it's just brilliant.
I like secret organizations. Like
Make a photo of Kim with wearing a shirt that
MI6.
says "I like secret stuff."
MI6, IMF, cool things like that. I just like that stuff.
Trek FM.
I like Trek FM.
Secret organization.
You're working for Trek FM. I knew it.
Oh shit!
She has 3 red dots in her eyes.
Oh no!
Taking this whole podcast down.
Come back with a rubber face.
All right. Well, I don't like Section 31 because they're just a bunch of bumbling goofballs who serve to have some sort of stakes to every episode when I think the episodes have enough stakes already. They're constantly being like, "We'll get you, Discovery," you know.
Yeah, they're setting them up to be kind of a corrupt, evil organization, kind of off the bat. But
Yeah.
how do they repair that for this spin-off? I mean,
They were
I guess they're
about
going to get rid of
to,
the captain and turn it over to Giorgio.
Well, yeah, that's what they're going to do. I mean, so Section 31 employs, this deposed, Empress of a Mirror Universe, which killed billions of people,
And a
and
murderer.
also Ash
Who
Vok,
might be a Klingon.
who might be a Klingon, who also started a Klingon war. So, this.
I thought
It
it was
is
a bit
evil.
much that they were going to dissect Spock's brain to find out more about the Red Angel. That seemed a bit
Yeah.
extreme.
Well, I mean, they also were complicit in the cover-up that he didn't murder anybody either, which is kind
That's
of
true.
weird.
Yeah, I haven't. If they're going to turn around and say, "Hey guys, we were protecting the Federation all this time, and you just don't know the bigger picture," that's fine. But just so far, they're just these, they're like chaos from Get Smart. They just run around. They just always are mucking up stuff, but they have no real consequences to what they do either. So, yeah. So
Well, we'll
mind
we'll
them.
soon find out about Section 31. Thanks to the other people working for your managers.
yes, this is true. Yes, yeah. I did invoke
Broke
that.
the
Didn't
fourth
I?
wall.
Yes, I heard that in the last podcast.
If anyone else hasn't heard that podcast, you don't need to. It's okay.
It's
I
17
haven't
minutes
even
of
listened
gold.
to
That was an illusion.
Kim makes a bed. Matt shows up at the wrong time. Nothing gets
We
talked
were
about.
under a timeline like every Next Generation episode. I had to clear out of there.
Section 31 was showing up. We had to get out of there.
Mike finally got to meet the sub-commander.
I did.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I didn't know this. Jeff Tyler?
He had no memory of me. He,
Oh, my.
No memory of you.
yeah, you like Kim.
From Charlie
Kim was
Brown?
she's like, oh, well, like Mike does TV and screenplays, and he also worked at Lamb's Player Theater. And he's like, uh-huh.
You
So
know.
anyway,
You would remember me because I fix
Well.
iPods.
That's right.
oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's true. Yeah. So he has more of an affinity towards you.
Yes.
And he
I
kind of remembered
win
Matt,
people over
which I
by
don't think he
fixing
ever met
their
Matt, but I
items.
think-
Well,
Yeah.
you haven't been at Lambs in over 10 years.
I know.
He's a constant fixture, as we saw in this last production.
He's going to know who I am. Jeff,
it very
turn
personally.
over your middle cushion.
They
What
have
do you
since
see?
recovered that couch.
Have they?
Yeah.
Reupholstered?
Aha! The
reupholstered it.
perfect crime.
Well, maybe there's a reason why they reupholstered.
They replaced the cushions with like these super hard cushions. I don't know.
I love that we always talk about the cushion stuff, and there's an entire audience listening to this.
All right, so full disclosure, when we were staying at like Kim House Sits a place, and they had a hot tub, and one day we got in the hot tub, and I got out and I sat on the couch, and some of the salts and various minerals, Marie,
Oh, jeez.
bled onto the cushion and left like a little white stain on it. So, and Kim was furious at me.
Because I
AKA,
could
Mike
not
left
clean
his
it.
wet items on top of the fabric for like overnight.
Mike sat in a wet swimsuit on like a velvety couch. What? Aren't there robots to clean up after me?
But I paid the price for that, you see. I was
not.
accountable.
You're so proud of yourself for that.
Accountability. There's no accountability.
His solution was just yelling at me to flip the cushion. I'm overreacting. I spent so much time.
I told
trying
you
to
I would
clean
pay.
it.
I told you I would pay for the cleanup of that. I told you that.
Until
No
you found
cleanup.
out how much it would be.
No, I said it was fine. Like whatever
The
the,
doctor
price
was like, that's going to be like $600 or something. Mike's like, flip the cushion.
well,
Oh my god.
you said it was like $30 or $40, and I was like, okay, that's fine. I'll pay for it.
I don't remember that at all.
I remember.
Neither
I
do
remember
I.
you went to an upholsterer and you got
I
some,
went to an upholsterer. Oh my god.
or you
But it's
called.
all fine. It's in the back.
well.
Let's all argue for 20 minutes. Trek FM doesn't do this. I'm going to Trek FM.
Trek FM doesn't ruin couches.
Scram Bram and I are going. Oh, is that his name?
Scram-bram.
That's the guy on Twitter.
Yeah, Scram Bram.
It's fine. You guys can all go over to Mirror Trek FM. Go to the Mycelial FM net. I'm the canon universe of podcasting here.
Nobody knows what that means.
There's no
That's
robots who
Scram-bram.
cleans up. I clean up my own messes or blame others.
There, that's
That's
the most
it. That's the
truthful
key.
thing you said.
But at least I acknowledge there should be consequences.
Okay.
I'm evil.
I don't argue
I'm
with
a bad
You-
person because of this.
Ay, wrap it up. I have to go to work. It's 3:30.
All right.
Oh, dear.
Thank you so much. Did we actually talk about anything in the show?
No.
I think we talked about enough. It was a good episode. I really enjoyed it.
I like secret things.
Kim likes secret
Kim
things.
likes secret things. The cushion got flipped.
Cushion got flipped.
And
Jason got in his obligatory Star Wars.
and I'm on fire right now. Thanks to the Telosians.
I don't know if this one's better than the last one or not. I don't know. I think we failed.
Well, I hope you can hear it at least. We're trying
It sounds
to
good to me
work
so
on
far.
that.
So.
Yeah, it sounds fine.
Usually I'm getting the dropouts and I don't get them today, so we'll be fine.
The operatives in Trek FM will let you know, Kim. They'll.
They'll do a sound check.
Their analysis, the audio analysis of this podcast is ongoing at Trek.
Trek FM is always right outside my house. Like, you gotta do a better job on audio. I'm like, I don't respond to your authority.
Try again, husband.
Bunch of robots.
I don't live under your authority.
You or your ice cream. Get out of here.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you so much for listening. As always, this has been a thing. You may now file it as an illusion and go on with your lives. I'm Mike McCafferty,
I'm Kim Miller.
And I'm Jason McCarris.
and I just want to talk about
Star Trek!